So game week 1 done and dusted. We go into game week 2 and there is some real beef matches this week. Welcome to week 2 in the Premier League. Guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to week number 2 in the Premier League. Coming up, I'll take you through all the fixtures of this weekend. But there are two standout fixtures as Newcastle and Liverpool fight it out in, should we call it the Isak derby? And then you've got Crystal Palace versus Forest in the El Clasico maybe? Because there is serious beef right now between these four clubs. Well, two of them. So make sure you've hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed. You can grab me a coffee right here and let's jump into the first game. The London Stadium kicks us off as West Ham will take on Chelsea in a somewhat London derby. West Ham absolutely stunk it out against newly promoted Sunderland, holding 3 to them this weekend. And Harry Potter is already under serious pressure. Yes, he hasn't been backed by Sullivan and the hierarchy at West Ham, but he's got to get a tune out of that team. And then Chelsea, so-called champions of the world, couldn't even beat the champions of the FA Cup as they were held out to a 0-0 draw at home. But this game has got to be an easy win for one team because honestly, West Ham look like they're already in a relegation battle for me. I can't see any way in hell that West Ham get a single tune out of this game. I'm going to go West Ham 0, Chelsea 2. I can't see it. There's like, what are they going to do? Bring Callum Wilson on? Is he even going to be fit come the weekend? This is definitely an away win. The Etihad Stadium will see the next match as Man City will take on Tottenham, and this is a bit of a bogey match for City. I think they lost 4-0 to Spurs last season, and that was under Ange. But Spurs fans think they've won the league because they won the first game against Burnley 3-0, and even Richarlison was looking decent and scoring goals. However, City did one better and beat Wolves by 4 goals, with Reinders putting in an absolutely sensational performance. And for me, City are favourites for this league. How does this go? I don't know. Spurs are looking decent. They're getting close to getting Eze. But Burnley are Burnley, and Burnley looks hellbent on going down this season. I think Man City will win this one. It will be tight. They got to beat this bogey team, but I'm going to go Man City 2, Spurs 1. I just think Man City are about to click into gear, and Pep has never gone 2 years without winning a title. The Vitality Stadium will see the first relegation battle of the weekend as Bournemouth will take on Wolves. Bournemouth did look okay against Liverpool, coming from 2 goals behind, but they still lost 4-2. Semenyo, though, did stand out in that game. Wolves, on the other hand, as we just mentioned, held 4 to Man City at home at Molineux, and I think Wolves are in serious trouble this season. Their manager is okay, but is he going to be able to get a tune out of them? Now they've lost Cunha and Aït-Nouri and other players as well. I just don't think they've replaced strongly enough. I think this is going to be a bit of a boring game. I'm putting it down as a 1-1 draw. I think both these teams end up very close to the relegation, if not in it. Who are your 3 to go down though? Turf Moor will see the return of the Premier League to Burnley as Burnley take on Sunderland. This time last year, this was a championship match and both of them are in the Premier League and both of them have exact opposite results. Sunderland won 3-0 and Burnley lost 3-0 last week. Under Scott Parker, I think Burnley are going to find this a long season. Yes, they had an excellent defence last year in the championship, but the upgrade to the Premier League has already cost them. In terms of Sunderland, they had that passion. It was bouncing at the Stadium of Light and they came out on top against a very crappy West Ham team. But I think Sunderland have got enough to beat Burnley even if it is away from home. I'm going an away win here. I'm going Burnley 0, Sunderland 1. It will be a tight match. It will be scrappy, but I think Sunderland come out on top. The BTEC Stadium in London will see the next match as Brentford host Aston Villa, and Brentford had an absolute stinker against the best team in the Premier League last weekend, losing 3-1 and getting lucky with a penalty. This manager of theirs, Keith Chegwin or whatever his name is, looks completely lost. I think I'd trust a PE teacher right now, and Brentford for me are going down this season. Aston Villa played out a boring 0-0 with Newcastle last weekend, but they did have Konsa sent off, so he won't be available for this game. But I don't think that matters. I think they could put the youth team out because Brentford were appalling. And I'm going away win here. I'm going Brentford 1, Aston Villa 3. I do expect Villa to perform better than they did last weekend. And with Emre in charge, they should do a lot better. The Emirates in North London sees the next game of the game weekend as Arsenal will take on Leeds United, and both these teams collected 3 points last weekend. Arsenal did not look that good against Manchester United, but the points are the only thing that matters if you ask the Arsenal fans. But the performances will have to come, and this will be a good chance for them to do that in their opening game at home. Leeds, however, were fantastic against Everton and, subject to a very dubious penalty, were able to take the win 1-0. Ellen Road was bouncing, but let's see how they perform on the road. This is going to be a tough game for them, and I expect them to set up quite defensively, and I think that's the right approach for it as Arsenal struggle to basically break down a low block. But I think Arsenal will have enough in this. I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Leeds 0. But don't be surprised if Leeds raise a few eyebrows this season. I've got them to stay up. Selhurst Park will host the John Textor Derby as Crystal Palace take on Nottingham Forest. And there is so much beef right now, mainly from Palace towards Forest, because they're really upset that Steve Parish didn't check his emails. How that's Forest's fault, I have no idea. But Palace are gunning for Forest on this one. And to be fair, Palace have been playing very, very well as of late and towards the end of last season as well. This one's going to be feisty. Palace and Forest have drawn every game at Selhurst Park since Forest returned to the Premier League. And Palace are yet to beat Forest at all since their return. This one probably ends up in a draw, but there may be a couple of red cards. Who knows right now? I'm going to go a draw. I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. I'm going to go Palace 1, Forest 1. If you give me a point from this game, I'll take it. Selhurst Park, tight ground, good atmosphere, and a Sainsbury's, of course. But this one is going to be one hell of an atmosphere. The Dickinson Stadium, yes, you heard me right, will see Everton host Brighton, and this will be the first official game in the Premier League under the new era at the new stadium, Dickinson. Anyway, Everton absolutely stunk their house out against Leeds the other night, as we've previously spoken about, and Moyes was not too happy with that penalty. And to be fair to him, I kind of do agree. It was extremely harsh. If you know what the handball rule is, let me know what it is in the comments, because I've given up on it. Brighton, on the other hand, were able to get a draw against Fulham, and Brighton will probably steadily end up somewhere in the mid-table. Everton need to get off to a win here in the new stadium, and I'm going to back them. I'm going to say Everton win this 1-0 against Brighton. I don't know how exciting a match it's going to be, but I'm pretty confident Everton win it. Craven Cottage sees the next game as Fulham will take on Manchester United. Having got that late equaliser against Brighton, Fulham need to kick on, and who better to do it than against the team that is still yet to win back-to-back Premier League games in well over a year now. Manchester United lost to Arsenal, but you would have to double check the score on that, because according to the United fans, it's the best they've ever seen them play, and the way they've gone on, I thought they won the game. They're telling me Amarim's tactics are really starting to show now. They're seeing patterns of play. But let's see if those players can get up for a Fulham team, a mid-table team, where they will be expected to come onto the front foot, and it's away from home. I think this one ends up in a draw, if I'm honest with you. Fulham are a solid Premier League team, haven't really bought anyone, haven't really sold anyone, so you expect the players to have a good understanding of the system and each other. I'm going Fulham 1, Manchester United 1. I don't know though, could be a little sneaky late winner like they did last season, but I'll stick with the draw. Then James's Park is going to be an absolute cauldron as Newcastle take on Liverpool. We may as well call this one the Isak Derby because there is some serious bad blood between these two clubs right now, and definitely the Newcastle fans towards Isak and Liverpool. I'm expecting one hell of a hostile atmosphere. I'm actually really looking forward to watching this game. Newcastle didn't play that well. Well, they did all right, but they just didn't have anyone up front. They've been playing Gordon up there against Villa. Elanga missing a sitter as well early in that game. Newcastle need to get firepower, and with Vissa strongly linked to them, they need to get that through the door quite quickly. Liverpool, on the other hand, I feel are playing a bit of the Kevin Keegan tactics. We're just going to score a goal more than you. As we mentioned earlier in the video, they were 2-0 up against Bournemouth, who came back into it, and Liverpool went and got 2 late goals. I don't know how this one goes. I'd love to see another 4-3. I would prefer it to go to Newcastle, but I'm going to sit on the fence and say Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. But those 4-3 games back in the day, they were entertaining. Who do you think wins this one? And do you think Isak ends up at Liverpool or stays? That's your Premier League fixtures for this weekend of game week 2. So get your predictions in the comments down below, especially the Palace Forest and the Newcastle Liverpool game. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Good luck to your teams this weekend, and we'll see you for game week 3.